Well, let's jump right into another video that I've been so excited to make. I'm going to start by sketching out some ideas for this painting that I have been looking forward to doing for a while. I have these cornhole boards that my dad made for me, and they're just kind of blank white cornhole boards right now, and the intention was always to paint them and give them some character. You can see I'm using some trace paper to kind of work out what the final idea is going to be. It's going to be some sort of fun pop art sketch each way, and I'm using Pinterest and some source imagery here just so that I have a good feel for the style and bring that to the painting. So initially I'm going to lay out some kind of comic book spacer lines. These are just lines that are going to be white throughout the entire painting that I know I'm not going to want to paint under, so that's what I'm taping here. A lot of this is going to be freehand, but I do like to use tape when there's a big long straight line because it's a lot of work to do a super straight line freehand, and sometimes it's just better to do it the easy way. So I'm just transferring my initial sketch onto the board, and then I just pop right on into painting. So I'm actually using some outdoor paint. This is just like house paint that I got from the hardware store. I went and got the sample size of a couple of colors. I think I got, I got skin color because I don't want to mix that myself. That's a lot of work. I got a magenta, a yellow, and a blue. I have white and red at home, and I'm using black acrylic. I'm also using my new Cricut machine to cut out some stenciling. I want some of those nice kind of polka dot patterns on here that's kind of very classic pop art, and it comes from kind of the printing style of comics back in the day, I think. But obviously in pop art, at least in the style that I'm working with, it's kind of exaggerated and enlarged, and is kind of a callback to Andy Warhol, a classic of the genre. As you can see, I'm using two different sizes of polka dots. The larger size sort of for large fields, and a smaller size just for contrast and variety and all that good stuff. Unfortunately, this dark blue needed a couple of layers, so it was really slow going because I had to do 2 layers and then move the stencil, and 2 layers and move the stencil again. But thankfully there were other areas to work on in the meantime. I did end up lightening the tan that I bought from the hardware store. The lighting in there is never quite right. So I just mixed in a tiny bit of white until I got the right tone for a classic 50s pop art look. Filling in the hair with black, and then I'm going to come back with some highlights in white and then eventually paint over that in green. This might not be the most efficient, but I find it easier to do it this way than to start by leaving the white spaces, because that takes a lot of planning ahead, and I just want to get this painting done. So here I'm just filling in some of the face details, some of that outlining, and I'm gonna come back and add the red for the lips and some detail on the phone. Next I'm working in the white highlights in the hair like I mentioned, and I'm just kind of looking for where light would hit the hair the most, and also trying to define some curls and waves and what's not. And this star feature in the corner, just some fun pop art vibes to add to this. Again, painting and moving a stencil takes a while, so I am actually working kind of back and forth across the board, but we figured we'd patch together in post the different areas so that you could kind of see the process of each part, even though technically I'm working on everything in tandem back and forth, and it's insanity. And I love the little tape pulls, just so satisfying. Now we're back up to the lips, gonna fill in the black for the mouth. I had contemplated putting some teeth in just on the edges, but I didn't want it to look too buck-toothed or anything, so I just left it out. And of course some classic highlights. Just again, think about where light would hit things, and look at source imagery if you need some idea of what to do. Now I'm coming back over those white highlights with green. I wanted green hair as an homage to myself. Haha. And this green is a mixed color that I made myself from the yellow and the blue, and I kept it in this bowl with saran wrap and stuck it in the fridge in between uses because I did not want it to dry out because there's no way I would be able to mix it exactly again. And I came in too early with those black outlines for the lips because I need several layers of red to go over this, and then I'm going to have to come back in again with the black to outline it again. Adding some detailing to the phone so you can tell what it is. And actually my source image for this had used a modern phone, like a smartphone, but I wanted to go with the classic 50s chunky phone for just a more classic look, even if some people don't know what it is these days. Actually, looking back on it, I'm so disappointed that I didn't add the curly Q wire coming off the bottom of that phone, and I might have to go cry about it. So here I am trying to do some freehand stripes, and it is taking absolute ages, so I'm going to just go over it with some tape and use a taped line because I simply can't be bothered. And we're going to make a tape pull here just so I can get that yellow speech bubble in. Again, this took so many layers for the yellow to cover the dark blue, but through the magic of editing, it takes seconds. After painting the solid black background for the face, I decided that it needed something to break it up a bit, so I brought that polka dot stencil back in and decided to kind of create some grading light coming from the side, just polka dots of white that kind of fade into the blackness so that you kind of have an idea of space and light and all that good stuff. And in order to create the gradient effect, I didn't do all of the dots towards the edge. I kind of did every couple of dots. And then for the lettering, I am writing the word hello as if you were answering the phone. Super fun. Anyway, I did sketch this out beforehand, as you might be able to see in the video, but again, it is mostly freehand, hard to tape off letters, and I didn't want to do a stencil. So just take your time and be patient. And now we're going to outline our fabulous speech bubble. I wanted some kind of lines stretching into the space, and I smudged a bit here, but I promise I'll come back and cover it up, and you will never know, except you will, because I caught it on film. And of course, all the curves are freehand. I wouldn't even know how to begin taping that, and so it just kind of takes some patience. And the key, especially with this brush that I was using, was just to move the brush really slow so you didn't get kind of patchy strokes. Slowing down the way that I painted turned out pretty well for getting some nice clean edges. And again, a fabulous tape pull. And I'm going to have to come back and give those some black lining, shown here. Again, I'm not showing you everything that's happening. There's so much going on in this painting, but just trying to highlight the important stuff. And since it's done, I'm going to give it a quick brush off and then go over it with this water-based polyurethane. I did some research, and I think this is going to give me the best result without any yellowing that an oil-based coat would do, but I did want a clear coat since this will be pretty heavily used. And there she is. I am so thrilled with how this came out, and I will definitely be doing the second one down the road. Let me know in the comments if you're interested in seeing that, and of course, follow us, like, subscribe, etc. We are so excited to be doing this project, and we have some big things coming. We're really enjoying this whole YouTube thing, so give us some support, like, comment, subscribe, and make sure that you come back next time.